Mike here. Welcome to the video. Welcome to the shop. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fish measuring bump board. I looked all over. I can't find one that'll last worth a darn, so I decided to make my own. I'll show you how I make them. This is a Lowe's yardstick. And this is a Western cedar fence slat that you can buy for like $4, and you can buy these for $2. And when it's all done, it looks like this. And it makes a nice fish measuring stick, and I'll show you how I make it. So let's make the cut. I cut them to 26 inches because I'm going to be making 24-inch fish measuring boards. I have them cut to 26 inches. I'm going to cut it right down the middle. Let's set the saw up. Okay, the fence slats are 5.5 inches, and I'm gonna set it at 2 3/4 minus the kerf, so I get 2 boards out of one 24-inch piece. So let's make the cut. So there I have 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 inches wide and 24 inches long. Now we'll lay out and make the cut for, with the router, we're gonna take and router a 5/8 slot right down the center. So let's set the router up. So before I set the router up, I wanna cut my yardsticks to the right size, the right width. I cut them to 5/8 of an inch, and that way I can use their scale on here. And I already measured their scale, and their scale is within a 1/16. So let's set it up and make that 5/8 cut. I want these to be pretty close to the right size, so I measure them with my calipers. And they're 630 thousandths, which is 5 thousandths over 5/8. So that'll work just fine. Okay, now let's set the router up and get it done. Okay, so I switched to my 5/8 router bit, and I set the depth about a 1/16 of an inch deeper than the thickness of my scale. Now I got to get it set on center. And I made a fixture to set me on center with my bit. Let me get that clamped down and set up. So using my fixture end here, I set the block so that the tips of the blade actually fit right in the slot. Then I turn it around and I'll make a check. I'll do a cut and make a check that it's in the center. So using my handy vernier, so it looks like I'm within about 10 thousandths of being in center. That's good enough. Now I want to check the depth and the width. Okay, that's a good fit right there. You can see how that fits right in there. So let's make the cuts. I got to set up my system here, so let me get that set up. Okay, so I have my dust collector set up right over here, and I'm going to make the cut. Okay, there's the cut. Okay, that's the first cut, and we'll see how it checks out here. 1 inch 4, 1 inch 5, within 10 thousandths. No problem. Actually, it's within 5 thousandths. So that'll work out pretty good. Let me check the depth and the width. Okay, you can see it's about a 1/16 of an inch deep, and it fits real well. So now I'll make the second one. There's the second slot. So now I have the boards cut and I have the slots made. And I have the scales all set. So now what I got to do is do some sanding, get everything smooth, straight, change the router bit around again. I want to change that to a roundover bit, and I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so I set the scales up using a bump board. rather than measuring from the end of the, rather than measuring like this, because we're going to be using it as a bump board, I have to make the 1 inch mark perfect. So let's get some glue on it, and then we'll bump it in. And I'm using Titebond Ultimate Wood Glue. It's waterproof. Okay, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it is actually quite close. So I just got to push it back just a hair to get it lined up with the measures. And I found these yardsticks that come from, I actually get mine from Lowe's. They are really, really accurate. So I have that spot on right there. You can see all my alignments are perfectly lined up. So now I take the leftover stick that I had, and mount it on the top of it, and then clamp it down. Let me get some clamps and get it clamped. Okay, there it is. I'll leave it clamped for an hour, and then I'll come back and do the other one. So while the scales are drying out, I'm going to make my bump boards. And I make them about 2 inches high. And of course I make them the width of the stick. So now we have our bump boards cut. I'm going to put a 45 on these, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so I measure in 3/4 of an inch on each side, and then I'll put a 45 on it. Real simple with this saw. This small saw I have is a Craftsman saw, and it has the shadow line. And the shadow line makes it real easy to make the cut. Okay, so there I have my 45s. I'll put them on the router table, route them around, make them right. I took them out of the clamps. They're nice and dry. Now I'm going to wipe the extra glue off. And I just use a damp cloth to get the extra glue off. So then I take a small plane and I plane down the end. I plane down the end so that it's flush. There's no wobble. So when I put my bump boards on there, they're correct. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put my bump boards on. And glue will hold it. However, I used some 18 gauge brads along with glue. I clamped the measuring stick down to the table. And put 3 brads in it. Let the glue dry. And away we go. Then I got final sanding and staining after that. And then I'll show you the end product. They really work nice, and because they're made out of cedar, they never rot. So they make a real nice fish measuring stick. So now I just got to let them dry, do some finish sanding, stain it, and they'll be done. I'll get back with you. And that's what the completed fish measuring sticks looks like.